Hey, it's Jamie Moore here. You're very welcome to the Off the Ball League of Ireland podcast. Coming up over the next hour or so, we're going to be joined by the man who has the joint most European appearances from a League of Ireland point of view ever, Owen Heary, former Shells and Bohs player, and also Shells, Bohs and Sligo manager. He's played 41 times in Europe for those clubs and joined with Ollie Cal. So Owen will join us in the week where our 4 clubs take part in the Champions League and Europa League qualifiers. Huge matches for Dundalk on Wednesday, and also the 3 clubs on Thursday with St Pat's in action here in Dublin, Cork at home and Shamrock Rovers away in Norway. Our first division focus will chat to Jack Brady, the goalkeeper from Limerick. Limerick, of course, only a couple of points off the top 4 and very close to the playoff positions despite lots of off-the-field troubles. And we'll also preview the Under-19 European Championships with 2 players in studio and 1 player on Skype, Brian Maher from St Pat's, Andy Lyons from Bohs and Oisin McEntee of Newcastle. So we'll begin with the Under-19s, and of course the Ireland team are getting ready to play in the European Championship finals in Armenia next week. The young boys in green were the only team to qualify, having won 6 games across their 2 stages of qualification. Former League of Ireland player Tom Moan's team will play in Group B against Norway on Monday, France next Thursday and Czech Republic on Sunday week, the 21st of July. The tournament runs from July 14th to July 27th and will be Moan's second experience of UEFA competition, having previously guided the Under-17s to the finals in Bulgaria in 2015. When Ireland were last involved in 2011 in the Under-19 finals, they made it all the way to the semi-finals with Premier League players like Matt Doherty and Jeff Hendrick in their team. In Group A, the other 4 teams, the hosts Armenia, joined by Italy, Portugal and Spain. It's currently 32 degrees in Armenia, so the boys are going to have to get used to dealing with the heat and a 10-hour flight to get there as well, I think, via London. The squad hasn't been named yet. It'll be made up of League of Ireland players and players based in the UK and some a little bit further afield. 3 men who are in the squad, though, are Brian, Andy and Oisin. And Brian and Andy are in studio. Oisin's on Skype. Lads, how are you?
Very good, thanks, man.
Oisin joined us from Spain on his Newcastle training camp. Oisin, how are you, man? Are you there? No, you're not. How are you, Oisin? You can hear us now. How are you, bud?
Yeah, feeling good. It's class over here. We've just done a bit of training over the past few days.
And I see you boys were all in your room last night with a laptop and you couldn't miss Love Island.
Yeah, that's an essential, isn't it?
Well, not for me. You boys are both big fans too, aren't you?
Big fans, yeah, absolutely.
So what will you do when you get to Armenia and there's no Love Island? Will it be finished by then, or is it?
No, we'll find the way to watch it, don't worry.
Is it good, no?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, nice. And I must say, Brian Maher is not the Brian Maher, of course, 98 FM DJ on the fix, although our security guard Tony was a bit confused. But Brian is a footballer with Pats in Ireland. So, lads, firstly, Andy, just start with you. Initial views on the tournament. We're chatting on Monday. You guys are meeting up on Tuesday to head to London and eventually off to Armenia with the first game taking place in a couple of days' time.
Yeah, heading tomorrow, obviously. So it's a big opportunity for all of us going over there. I was talking with a few FAI interviews over the past few weeks, and I think we're going over there to win the tournament, and we've no doubt about that within ourselves. The group that we have, we know we have the quality to go over there and put ourselves up against the best in Europe. So yeah, 100% we're going over there to make good of account of ourselves and obviously hopefully win the tournament. But we know it's going to be hard. We know it's going to be very hard as some top class teams are playing against. And obviously there's different factors coming into it with weather and all that kind of stuff. But within ourselves, the group, we know we're capable of winning the tournament, and obviously we're going to be written off. That's inevitable, really, by people outside the FAI. But now within ourselves, within the group we know we're capable of winning the tournament. Absolutely.
Yourself, Brian, your overall thoughts on heading off?
Yeah, just buzzing to get in now and get going with the boys, because it's been a while waiting since we qualified in Russia. So just get in, get training, start having a look at the other teams and try and go as far as possible.
Yeah, I mentioned in the introduction that 6 wins out of 6 across 2 campaigns against some really good teams. What's your memories of those games? I think you played in 5 of them. Yeah,
so I played in 5 of them. We played the first 3 games we played in Longford. Probably the highlight of that was beating Holland 2-1 the last game, topped the group, which put us as a top seed for the elite phase group. So then we got drawn to go to Russia, and we obviously won 3 games again, beat the host in the last game, and we're actually qualified after 2 games as well, which was probably took the stress off the last game. So 6 out of 6, perfect record, isn't it?
And for you, Oisin, as well, you've been in Ireland for the last little while. I know Tom Moan held a small training camp. You've headed off to Spain with Newcastle, but you'll be back with the squad, and I'm sure very excited as well to link up with the boys and really start to get ready for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like there's a great buzz in the group. Everyone just can't wait to get away. So I'm meeting up tomorrow. I think I'm flying to London tomorrow from here. So I just can't wait, really.
Yeah, it's a little bit different for the League of Ireland boys in comparison to the lads based in the UK, because you've just started pre-season, whereas Andy and Brian and the other League of Ireland boys are in the middle of their seasons as well. So have you had to make a conscious effort across the summer to keep yourself maybe a little bit fitter than you would normally in pre-season, given that you're going to play in a massive tournament in a couple of days' time?
Yeah, that's definitely a big factor. Like over summer, I just had a personal trainer for most of the summer. Every 2 days, I was just doing bits of gym, bits of running, bits of football. But I still got a good rest. But I think I just kept ticking over and eating well over summer, because it is a massive tournament everyone wants to play in. So you might as well do it right.
Now, Oisin, speaking of playing in massive tournaments, you played for the under-17s in the European Championships last summer, held in England as far as I remember, and you ended up in goal because Jimmy Corcoran was sent off for a second yellow for allegedly encroaching off his line and saving a shot. And there's a really good photo of you putting on his jersey with your outfield shorts and socks on and getting in goal. What's your memories of that time? Because everybody was watching on RT. I think the Ireland manager at the time, Martin O'Neill, actually ran onto the pitch afterwards to have a go at the ref, and it was one of the most memorable football moments in recent history.
Yeah, it was a massive game. I feel we had just put everything into that game, and we worked 110% the whole game, and we brought them to penalties, and then we just got unlucky in the penalties. Jimmy got sent off and I had to go on goal, but I didn't save the penalty, so it was just a tough one to take.
Yeah, had you ever, I know you're from an area of Ireland where you would have played a lot of Gaelic football growing up, so had you played in goal before, and when Jimmy was sent off, did you immediately put your hand up and go, I'm going in goal here?
I would have probably played a few games in goals in Gaelic football and stuff, but no, at the start of the tournament, Colin talked to me and he said that since it's tournament football, anything can happen. Would you be the outfield player to go in goals if a keeper got sent off or injured and we had no more subs? And I said yeah. So when it happened, I think we all kind of knew what was happening then. I was going in goals, so it wasn't really any confusion.
Yeah, and we're over a year on from what happened there, and I remember sitting at home, and I remember actually being on Off the Ball AM the following morning, just speaking to the lads about what had happened, and just how mad it was, and the scenes afterwards of Martin O'Neill heading for the ref, and the manager, the head coach Colin O'Brien, being so calm in his post-match interview as well. Looking back on it now, can you put your finger on just how disappointing and angry those few minutes and hours would have been when everybody thought we were robbed?
Yeah, no, it was. I think in the group of players, everyone was just more disappointed and devastated than angry. We put everything into that game, and we thought we had our tactics perfect. Coming up against Netherlands, who eventually won the tournament, they were obviously going to be one of the best teams we were going to play, and I feel we matched them throughout the game, and we got to 1-1, brought it to penalties, and I think we were just more devastated than angry. Obviously, there is anger. It's just natural, but it was just sad at the time.
So, for you, Brian, as a goalkeeper, did you rate Oisin's abilities in goal there?
It speaks for itself.
Has it ever happened to you, Brian, that you were playing and you were sent off or injured and an outfielder had to go and goal?
No, not that I can remember, no. I think I've been in goal for every penalty I've been involved in.
Nice, and you're known as an expert in penalties. We've seen in the Women's World Cup, and I'm sure it'll be the same in this under-19 Euros, that the referees seem to be speaking to the goalkeepers anytime there's either a shootout or a penalty in the game about what they are and aren't allowed to do. Is that something you'll have to really get your head around, heading into this tournament, if a penalty is awarded, that you don't save it and all of a sudden it's retaken and you're booked? Yeah,
of course. We had a training camp last month, and Tom Moan brought in a referee, the head of referees of the FAI, and he explained all the new rules to me, like you're not allowed to touch the crossbar, your foot has to be, if your foot's not on the ground, it has to be directly over the white line in the goal. So I think going into it, I hopefully will know every rule that I have to, so hopefully I won't get done for encroaching or what happened to Jimmy.
Yeah, because obviously it's natural for a goalkeeper to step forward and to try and dive forward, but it seems as if the referees have really been told, and the assistants, to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah, I think you sort of need to do it a little bit to get momentum, because if you just dive from a standing start, you're not going to cover the whole goal. So I think that's why goalkeepers do take the step forward or start behind the line and go forward to dive. But it is they're getting very strict on it, and you can see with Jimmy and seeing the Women's World Cup, even they're going to VAR over it, so it's a very strict rule now, so I'm going to have to try and abide by it.
I assume there's no VAR in Armenia, is there? Or is there, do you know yet?
You never know.
Yeah. And for you, Andy, I'm sure you were watching those games as well, and you would have played international with some of those players. You're going to play with Oisin now. Could you believe your eyes when, the fact we've Oisin here and Brian's a goalkeeper, to kind of think of what happened to them?
Yeah, no, I remember watching the night against Holland, and the team did so well. As Oisin said, they did so well against a very good Dutch team, and they brought them all the way to penalties, and they'd see what happened, and the devastation, Jimmy Corcoran's face just told you it all, really, didn't it? And obviously the scenes after the match with Maher and Neil coming on the pitch, it was a bit mad, and obviously, I don't know what went on, what the referees talked to Jimmy and the team, I don't know, but it seemed very harsh. What happened seemed very harsh, and then obviously Oisin going in goals obviously couldn't prevent the goal, but I think as Brian said, the head of referees, the FAI came in to talk to us, so I think the rules are kind of a lot clearer now than maybe they were last year, so hopefully there's no confusion this year round.
Yeah, and the reason we were able to watch all of those games as well is because they were all live on RT2, and these 3 Ireland games are also going to be live on RT2, which people from Ireland will be able to watch, and a huge audience as far as I understand, watching the 17s games last year. And Andy, you've played in the Bohs first team a lot this season and last season, and some games have been live on TV, but I'm sure not too many friends and family are going to make the trip to Armenia, so to know that everyone back here can watch and cheer you on, I'm sure it'll be nice to have all 3 games live on TV. Yeah, no, it is. It's a very good thing, I think, for all of us. My dad and my sister are actually heading out, so they'll be there, but for the rest of the family and for friends and all that kind of stuff, obviously it will be great to get their support by watching on TV, and it is great to have the matches broadcast live. It's a great thing for us for showcasing our abilities, and the whole nation gets to see that, and I think that's a great thing, and obviously to get the support from family and friends watching it will be a good thing. Yeah. Have you any family heading yourself, Brian?
Yeah, my dad's heading over. He has I think he's 5 or 6 flights out and back to get there, so it's going to be a long trip, but at least I'll have someone out there, and then hopefully my mum is trying as well. So you guys go to London, and then do you fly direct to... I'm not really sure how you do it. I was trying to look online. It said it's like 10 hours, but it's connection flights, and you might have to stop in somewhere mad. Yeah, I think we're going to London tomorrow. We train tomorrow in QPR, stay the night in London, and then I think we've 2 more, but I'm not sure where we're going through. Oisin, for you, is anyone heading over to Armenia to cheer you on?
Yeah, I think my mum and dad might be heading over. We're looking at flights now, so... It, as you said, it is a bit awkward getting out there. It's a weird enough country to get out to. It's difficult, but I'd say my mum and dad will be going out. Yeah, and of course across all of your Ireland careers you've seen some amazing places and played in some amazing countries. Oisin, if I start with you, what type of places have you seen as an Ireland player, and what type of countries have you played in? I've played in a good few, to be fair. I've played in Macedonia, Bulgaria, Poland, Russia. A good few. I'm not really too sure, but they'd be the most out there country. Turkey as well. So I've been all over. And what would you, if I was asking you to pick out one of those places for something that you saw or experienced, whether it be a stadium or whether it be a massive building or something totally different, some of maybe the amazing views you've seen? I know you guys all love putting up Instagram stories from your hotels and stuff. Of all those places, if you were to pick out one that you really enjoyed for a certain reason, what would that be and why? I feel the Macedonia trip was really, really good. It's somewhere I would have never went to if I wasn't playing football, and it's a really, really nice country as well. Like, we went into the city one night and there was just a big fireworks display and lights and everything, so it was class. So you're really nice. You're born in 2001, so you're actually playing a year up for this Ireland team. When did you first make your Ireland debut? What age were you, and what's your memories of that? I made my first Ireland debut in under 15s, so we played against Poland in a double header. So that was when I first played. That was a good few years ago now. I think it was 3 years ago now. And what do you remember about that? You're like a 15-year-old kid, and you've always wanted to play for Ireland and wear that green jersey, and you're about to have the opportunity to go and actually achieve that. What do you remember about kind of the build up to it and the actual match itself? Yeah, I remember when I first got the call up, it was maybe 3 or 4 weeks before we were going away, and I was absolutely buzzing. Like, I was just going into school, everyone saying it to me and everything, so it's just class. Playing for your country is what every footballer wants to do, isn't it? So it was unbelievable. I just had a great buzz for it, and then when I met up with the squad, I'd never really been in that professional environment before, so it was just proper good to be in around that and experience it.
So Oisin's been to Macedonia, Bulgaria, Poland, Russia, to name a few. Brian, what type of places have you been to see, maybe apart from the ones he's been in?
Yeah, so we've been at 17s. We were in Slovenia, Andorra, Cyprus, and then Croatia for the finals. And then this year, Russia, a few times to Spain, Portugal, everywhere really. A lot of places, as he said, that you wouldn't go to if you weren't a footballer. Like, so it's very cool that way. Yeah,
that's something that you kind of think about. You go, God, they're playing in Armenia, but do you actually get to go and see any of these places on days off and downtime, or is it just aeroplane, bus, hotel, football pitch?
No, I think it has changed, like especially as you get older. Like, you do get, say, days off maybe after a match, you have recovery, but they give you, say, an hour or two, just go in and have a look at the city and just take your mind off the game. So it is very interesting to be able to do it.
Bring us back to your own Ireland debut. Tell us that story. When was it? Who was it against? And all that sort of stuff.
My Ireland debut was actually on my 15th birthday. In the Victory Shield against Wales, Wales or Northern Ireland it was, and we drew 0-0. And just since then, I've just managed to stay in the squad, and hopefully I can keep doing that.
So you've been in every squad since then?
Yeah.
Nice. And you're a little different. Ireland 18s and 19s. Did you play 17s?
No, I didn't play 17s.
Okay, so the 17s team, this age, you played in the Euros 2 years ago?
Yeah, in Croatia, yeah.
Okay, so you, Andy, made your Ireland debut at 18s?
18s, yeah. So I would have been 17 at the time, yeah.
How was that? Was that against Turkey?
No, it wasn't. It was against Holland, actually. Okay. Which was, we unfortunately lost that game, but we got revenge on them, as some say, a year later in their qualifying round. So, you know, obviously it's a massive thing to make your debut for Ireland, playing for your country. It's a huge honour. Like, obviously, unfortunately, we lost the game, but as I said, a year later we got revenge on them, so it wasn't too bad.
So Oisin and Brian made their debuts in under 15 Ireland, and you're watching lots of your teammates at the time when you were playing schoolboy for St Joseph's Boys, and also then for Bohs underage were maybe playing for Ireland, and you had to be patient, and you're now in the squad and likely to be starting right back in the Euros. So, you know, how was that time at 15, 16 when you're seeing others and for some reason or other you're not the one that's being picked?
Yeah, no, it's hard. I think everyone in football has been through their troubles. At 15s, I just obviously unfortunately wasn't picked, and then unfortunately under 16s I did my cruciate, so I was out for a year. And then obviously the 17s, when I came back, obviously they were doing so well. So to break into a team that were doing so well, and obviously winning all the games, it was hard to break in. It was frustrating to look in from the outside because they were doing so well, and I was obviously very happy from them. But to not be involved was obviously hard to take. But I knew if I put my head down and kept on working hard, I would get my chance. And thankfully at under 18s with Jim Crawford, I got the chance, and I thought I've took the chance. So you know, obviously I've retained my place in for the last 2 years. So you know, obviously hoping to build on it from the experiences. Yeah,
Emma, can we see that photo again, please? We've just seen Andy in a photo shoot with the FAI a couple of weeks ago. And for those who are listening to the podcast, it's Andy sitting at FAI HQ in Abbottstown.
On the ground.
On the ground. Like, is that where people leave their bikes, or...?
It was the bike stand, yeah.
Okay, now when the photographer...
Shocking, man.
Yeah, Oisin can see it too. When the photographer asked you to sit there, fold your arms, put the cheeky smile on and do that, do you say, I could be a bit embarrassed here, or do you go, I want that for my Instagram?
He was buzzing.
No, I was not buzzing. I can guarantee you that I was not buzzing. No, I remember there was a few lads sitting over and they were recording me doing it, but... No, we were doing a photo shoot, and the cameraman asked me to do this, and I couldn't believe he was getting me.
He asked the cameraman to go to the bike stand.
Oisin was getting photos taken as well.
Yeah.
Get some with them.
Yeah, I think, Emma, we have one of Oisin and a mannequin, and I'm not sure if we can tell Oisin and a mannequin apart. There we go, yeah.
That is shocking, isn't it?
I can't see it.
For everyone to see.
You can't see that one, but you can see the other one.
And the thing about that picture is actually he wasn't even wearing shorts that day. He was wearing these dodgy jeans, and he had to get them changed. And he knows that as well.
Oh,
big rips in the jeans, and he couldn't get the photos taken with them.
Yeah, nice.
That didn't happen.
Unfortunately,
I think the blonde highlights need to be brought up.
Yeah, we can see them on Skype. He's you know, in the sunshine on his pre-season tour. All for the blonde.
Him, no?
No, they're not liking them. They're only jealous.
Don't worry,
They're only jealous.
I'm having them.
Exactly.
Andy was giving out about them before we started.
Nah.
Oisin, on a serious note, how have you found the media side of things? And I know you wouldn't have done too much when you were playing for Malahide, and here for Belvedere before you move, but I'm sure over in Newcastle, even though you're an underage player, there is media duties at times. You were one of the people, along with Andy, chosen to face, you know, all of the national newspapers and stuff at Abbottstown in that training camp last week, and you know, we're having a joke about the photo shoot, but you do have to sit there and answer questions that, you know, in this case are going to go on a podcast and on the radio, and in the case of the newspapers, you know, they're going to be in the newspapers.
Yeah, I guess you just have to be smart with what you say, and with the photos and all that side of things, just kind of do what they want, and whatever they kind of ask you to do, just be open to doing it. So we did have a few photos in different positions around the HQ. I think we all just kind of had to take it. So.
And is it something at Newcastle or at the FAI that you would be given any advice on, or any media specific training like?
Yeah, when we were younger with the Irish team, when we were going away to different tournaments, we'd get media advice, and then last year when we were at the under-17 Euros, we had different people coming in and talking about media and giving us advice and what to say in interviews, and just helping us out really. And then with Newcastle, the same. It's an important part of the game now, because there is so much media wanting to get involved, and just to see the insight from players in their lives.
Andy, for you as well, being a Bohs first team player now, and we mentioned the live TV games and the media stuff, but you know, Oisin's over in the UK still as an academy player. You're a first team player and you're playing first team games, and again, how have you found all of the media side of things? You've done this podcast with me last year, you've done others too, and you know, again, as someone who's 18, 19, it's something that you've got to get used to very quickly.
Yeah, I think you do. I think, as Oisin said, it's part of the game nowadays. You know, you just got to get used to it. Obviously, sometimes it puts you in the spotlight, and you know, you can't take that away from yourself, really. But as Oisin said, you got to be careful what you say, and you got to look after your words and what you're saying, who you're talking about, and all that kind of stuff. But you know, as it's part of the game now, and it's something that has to be done, as I said. So yeah, no, look, listen. When you get the chance to talk, you have to talk well, and you have to watch what you say, really. Yeah.
And Brian, we said these games are live on TV, so like it's very possible if you make a really good save or save a penalty or do something, you might be the one that RT asked for like a live TV straight after the game, and you've done some media as well here. Again, like the lads, it's something that you're getting used to quite quickly. Yeah,
I think it's something that you don't really have a choice. You have to get used to it fast, or else you're just going to end up making mistakes in it. So you just have to be open to do it. Just talk as you normally would, and don't say stuff that you shouldn't say, but just talk about football really, and just your opinion, and just get through it, so that sort of way.
Oisin, second last one for you, because I know you've got to head off to the second session of the day. Just for people watching and listening, your own story from when you started playing football at a, you know, I suppose a level where you thought you were a good player, Malahide and Belvedere, to your move and your Ireland appearances. Just explain to us your story of when you started playing football properly, and how it ended with your, you know, through your club football and eventually over to the UK and playing for your country.
Yeah, well, I would have always played football when I was 6, 7 with a team called Maher Farm, and then went to Cootehill Celtic Drumore youths from there, and then to Cootehill, and then when I was playing with the Calvin Monaghan selection team, basically, I was going to different tournaments, and clubs in Dublin were looking for me, and different scouts were coming to my games and basically saying to me that if they were going to bring me over, they want to see me play against players at a good level up in Dublin. So me and my mum and dad all made a decision to move up to Belvedere from Carrick Rovers. So I moved up when I was under 14s, and it was tough at the start, and I was really the only one from a different county. The rest were all Dublin lads, but they really helped me into things. And I stayed there for the year and won the All-Ireland with them. And then the following year, the team just kind of broke apart. And I had to go to Malahide United, and I loved my time there. I spent 2 years there, and the standard there is unbelievable up in Dublin in the DDSL. So then I kind of made my decision when I was around 16 to go to Newcastle, and I've been there since then, and I just love it over here. It's class. It's just football every day. The lads are all sound, and the manager's really nice. So I feel they've helped me with my career. I played 18s and under 23s last year, and this year I'll be an under 23 player. So I'm looking forward to this season.
Nice. I'm very sad Rafa Benitez has gone. My favourite football manager ever. So I think have you got a new manager, first team manager? Have they appointed one?
The two under 23s managers are over the team at the minute. They're going to China, so I don't know yet. I don't really know anything at the minute.
Yeah, poor Rafa. I think Rafa could be gone to China himself, actually, I think. So, yeah, he's gone. Brian, your own story. Played for St Kevin's, moved to Pats, still at Pats now, and just finished your leaving cert?
Yeah, I actually started at my local team, Maher United. Started out as an outfield player, but quickly enough ended up in goal maybe when I was 8. Moved to St Kevin's when I was 9. And played there for 6 years till I was 15, and then the League of Ireland club started knocking on the door, and I chose to go to Pats, and then a year later signed my first professional deal, and then signed a new 2-year deal there to start the season. So I'm happy enough. Just finished my leaving cert there. That made things very difficult for the first 6 months of the season, because obviously we were training in the mornings a bit, like obviously Andy had it, but Bohs were training in the evenings, so it was much more difficult to go training or to go to school. So I'm just happy it's done now, and now I'm a full-time footballer.
Now, we've asked about Oisin's goalkeeping abilities, lads, so we'll ask about Brian as a young outfielder. Oisin, you were laughing there in the background. You're not having him as a possible
just
number 10.
Can't imagine him. I just can't imagine him as an outfield player, that's all.
Andy, could you see him somewhere? Maybe right back?
Nah, no chance.
No.
I think he wouldn't be too bad though. I think he's good with his feet, so better than Oisin is in goals anyway, I'd say.
Yeah, all these goalkeepers have to be good with their feet now, to be quite fair.
Yeah.
So Andy, yourself, did you play for your local team in Naas first?
I played for Naas, Naas FC, then Naas. So that was a great stepping stone. I played there for 6-7 years, and I'm grateful for all the coaches for everything they did for me there. And then obviously I moved up to Joey's in first year. I was a boarder in Blackrock College, so it made it handy playing for a local club. So I played there for 3 or 4 years, and then obviously moved across to Bohs and played under 17s there, played under 19s there, and now thankfully in with the first team. So I've loved my time everywhere I've been. So now it's time to kick on again now, really. Yeah.
So you two both done your leaving cert. We'll ask Oisin about his education in the UK in a moment. Brian, how would you describe the last year, trying to balance football with the Pats first team training in the mornings, 19s training in the evenings, and trying to get a good leaving cert, because I know you want to go to college?
Yeah, just tiring is the word. Like, you don't have a minute of the day. You're literally waking up, going to school, home at whatever, 4:30, going to training at 5 o'clock, home 8 or 9, homework, all that sort of stuff, and then bed, and that's it for nearly the year. You barely have time to do anything else, like, especially if you say, when you're a full-time footballer, you do, especially even with the Ireland stuff, you fall behind a bit in school because you're missing, say, 2 weeks, 3 weeks at a time to go to the Euros and that. But like, it's never a question of whether you're going to go to the Euros. You just have to say to yourself that when you come back, you're going to catch up. And that's the decision I made in, say, the start of 5th year and the start of 6th year. Both times I said that I was thinking about weighing up options, and I said there was no point in doing the leaving cert and then leaving. So I did it, and now I'm happy that I have it in the back pocket, and then also now have my contract. Is it something that the school have to speak to your parents about and your club about, maybe the FAI about, because like there are certain rules by law how many days of school you're allowed to miss before the school has to kind of ask questions, but I'm sure that if they know you're a very high level footballer, there's exceptions probably made. Yeah, there is definitely exceptions. Like, I suppose my mum was a bit worried about that. She was expecting one of them letters in the door for missing too many days, but I think when they see why you're missing the days, it's not a big a deal. Like, I know in 4th year I missed like over 80 days or something when we were playing in the 17s Euros, so I think I missed the whole month of May of school. So, but in 4th year it doesn't really matter. But I think once the teachers are accommodating for you, and once the Board of Education or whoever's in charge sees that you're playing with Ireland, it's not a big deal. How would you describe the feeling of walking out after your last exam? What was that exam, and just able to put the uniform away forever and focus on football, maybe before college, but just exams done and that pressure of 2 years gone? Yeah, definitely. It's just a weight off your shoulders. I think the weight came off my shoulders the night before when you're just finished studying. Like, you just have the exam to do, and I had economics last on the 21st of Friday. So as you're walking out, you just feel free. I suppose the stress is a little bit there about waiting for results, but I won't be thinking about that now until the middle of August. But yeah, it's a bit weird when you come out, because you're just like all the stress for that, and then there's just you just nothing to do now. You feel a bit like, well, I don't have to go home and study. What am I going to do? But no, it's definitely a relief now.
So you're hoping to go to college, maybe?
Maybe, yeah. We'll see what happens.
You've got some time just to play football and decide.
Yeah.
So Andy, for you, your break into the Bohs first team and your break into being a regular Ireland player have coincided with 5th and 6th year, so probably not the best timing in terms of your workload, but you, like Brian, has had to try and manage it all, and you're also just finished your Leaving Cert.
Yeah, likewise, like Brian, obviously it was good to get the Leaving Cert done, it's good to get it in the back pocket, as he said. But yeah, no, it is tough sometimes, you're going from school to train and then home, bed, and then the cycle starts again, really, doesn't it? So no, but I think it's a good thing, because I don't really know what I'd do with myself if you had nothing, because we train at night in Bohs, so I think it was ideal to fill the day with school and then to head off to training, really. I think it got tough when it was closer to the Leaving Cert, when we had to actually go from school to training and then back to study. I think that was when it was hard, but I think it's a good thing to fill the day, really, you know what I mean? All your friends are in school, so you enjoy going to school. The school look after you because they know the achievements you've accomplished. And even when you go away, as Brian said, you do miss a lot of days. So I remember, I'm sure Brian was the same, but we were in Russia, and I remember the day we came back, my oral for Spanish was the next day, so you actually have to get some work done while you're abroad. So it's a bit weird, because obviously only the League of Ireland lads are really doing the Leaving Cert. So when we were over there, we were on the books, and the rest of the lads are playing the PlayStation or Netflix. So sometimes it is a bit different. But the work had to be done, and as I say, I'm just thankful to get it done over it, really. Yeah.
Oisin, you're laughing again in the background. No Leaving Cert for you. On a serious note,
I was busy beating Brian on FIFA. So.
Yeah, okay.
He is I reckon he's not beat anyone on the team.
We will ask about the FIFA and the ping pong in a second, but just to stay on a serious topic for now, Oisin, when did you leave school in Ireland, and what education have you done in the UK, and is that something that has been in your head, or... again, I think it's a mix with footballers that move away. Some of them try and do some sort of education, others don't bother at all, some pretend to do it. How have you kind of done it since you left school? Probably after your junior cert, was it?
Yeah, I left I'd done all of TY back in Ireland, and then left after that summer. So then when I came over to Newcastle, they had a education programme set up for me to get a BTEC in sports science. So we spent 2 years at that. It was kind of an assignments type thing, and just my two tutors helped me throughout it, and now I have that qualification now. So I think I'm going to go on to do maybe a bit more this year and go into kind of the personal training side of things. So I'm looking forward to that.
Nice. And you guys do have a lot of free time around the hotels and stuff, so you've just spoken about your abilities at FIFA, but there is lots of time around the hotel and stuff and the camp, not to do team meetings and not to sleep and not to do training, so that's something important, and I'm sure it adds to the bond of the group as well, whether it be FIFA or ping pong or whatever that might be.
Yeah, definitely. We try to set things up as a group, really, just to get little FIFA tournaments going, or just other things to involve everyone, just so nobody's really left out. So it's good. I don't really think we get bored during the rest times, because we kind of need them, I feel, because there's so much information we're getting in meetings or in trainings. It's just good to get a bit of downtime and get to know people. So it helps out on the pitch as well, if you know them off the pitch.
And is that something, lads, that you've seen as well, in all the different squads you've been in, those type of events around the hotel really do bring the group together? And I'm sure some people like to have some downtime, but when you're around the group, to have a bit of crack, Andy, and whether it be FIFA, ping pong or whatever it might be?
Yeah, no, I think it's vital. It is vital. I think every hotel we go for, thankfully they have table tennis tables, pool tables, all that kind of stuff set up for us. The PS4 is provided and all that kind of thing. So no, it's like team bonding, really, isn't it? I remember when we were away in Russia, we decided to set up our own FIFA tournament. So everyone in the team got involved. Everyone in the team got a team, and obviously the teams are pulled out of the hat.
Brian was knocked out first round.
Brian was knocked out first round, and I was knocked out first round as well. So
shock I didn't get knocked out first round. So
no.
Who won?
Johnny won.
But I got Johnny in the first round, and he got Real Madrid, and I was Roma. So
and Andy celebrated losing.
Yeah, no, listen, it was 2-0, and I scored, and I thought we were going to win it, but I had everyone camped behind the ball. I was playing 11 men behind the ball. and got a goal in the counter attack and thought I may win it, but it wasn't to be. So, but as I said, it's a great exercise for team bond and all them kind of stuff. So it does bring you together as a group, yeah.
Okay, men. Lastly, we'll finish on the football, and the European Championships begin for Ireland, as I mentioned. Ireland playing in Group B against Norway on Monday of next week, which is this day next week, in fact, because we're recording on Monday. France next Thursday, and the final game against the Czech Republic on the Sunday week. That's the 21st of July in Group B of the Under-19 European Championship finals in Armenia. In the other group, it is, if I can find my sheet of paper, where is Group A gone to? I've lost it, have I? There it is. Italy, Portugal, Spain and Armenia are in Group B, in Group A. Oisin, you first, and you're not allowed to say it's going to be a tough tournament or we have to play our best. So no cliches, but
it's struggling now.
It's 8 teams, so if you finish in the top 2, it's straight to the semi-finals, and you've won 6 out of 6, so I'm sure head there and try and repeat defeat.
Yeah, definitely. Like I think everyone kind of knows we're all absolutely buzzing for the tournament, so I think everyone's going to be switched on from the first whistle. Even from when we get to the airport tomorrow, everyone kind of has their kind of game faces on, because we know it's such an important tournament that not many people get to this tournament. Especially if you're from a country like Ireland. Like, I feel that this team has done really well to get here. So we're in the last 8 of Europe. Really, anything can happen, because if we get out of our group, we are in a straight semi-finals. So I think anything can happen, and I think we're confident in our abilities, in each other and in ourselves, that we could match anyone, really.
Brian, Oisin managed no cliches. What's your own thoughts on the games, being in goal, hopefully keeping some clean sheets and helping your team as you have done to pick up some more wins and, as Oisin said, make the last 4 in your game from a final?
Yeah, definitely. The clean sheet would be, I think, especially going into tournament football, clean sheets would be essential. A big thing, because it makes it very difficult to lose. You'd have to go to penalties or whatever to lose. So I think definitely, without being cliche, I definitely am just thinking of the first game, because winning the first game will set you up in the group, especially because at 17s we didn't win the first game and it was a very uphill task. We still managed to get through, but by the skin of our teeth. So I think definitely against Norway, we've got to go and try and win the first game 100%, and then if you get through the group, as you said, it's 2 games away from winning the European Championships, but have to focus on the group first.
Andy?
Yeah, no, as Brian said, I think it is massive. It's a massive opportunity, I think, first and foremost. Going over to play, as Oisin said, in the top 8 in Europe. You're one of the best teams in Europe, top 8 anyway. So, if you come through the group, it's going to be, if you come through the group, you get into the semi-final stage, and then, it's anyone's real luck, isn't it? So, but I think already in the previous rounds, in the qualifying rounds, we've put ourselves up against the best in Europe, and we've shown that we're good enough to go and do well in the tournament. As Brian said, clean sheets are vital, and as a defender, and obviously the goalkeeper, that's massive. I think we've only conceded 4 goals in the 6 previous games in the qualifying, the elite stages. So clean sheets and obviously the attackers will do the scoring for us, but clean sheets will be massive, and defending well will be massive in these tournaments. Yeah,
so Andy's right back, Oisin centre back and Brian in goal. So we have the defenders club here on the podcast ahead of those games for Ireland against Norway, France and Czech Republic. Oisin, firstly, thanks a million for your time. I know you're on Skype from your hotel room. Your teammates left you in peace, thank God. So enjoy the rest of your night in Spain. Have a safe flight home, and hang on there for 1 second. We're going to get a photo before you leave, but best of luck, and we'll speak to you soon, alright?
Cheers, Jamie.
And to Brian and Andy as well for coming in on your Monday off before you meet up. Thanks a million. Are the bags packed, yes? Or have the mummies and daddies packed them for you? Or
not yet, no.
Packing your own?
Yeah, I haven't even got a bag to pack yet, so
nice.
Get one now on the way home.
Do you bring anything interesting bar the normal bits and pieces?
PlayStation, that's it.
PlayStation.
So the PlayStation's brought by...
Essential.
How many just bring? About 4 of them?
Well, most people bring 1 each,
7 probably.
Oh, wow.
So, you kind of know your roommate at this stage.
Yeah,
so
roommates are the same at this stage, so I think one of the roommates brings it, really, isn't it?
Yeah, we'd end up with about 6 or 7, definitely.
Nice, and then the usual bits, headphones, clothes...
Yeah, you don't really bring much, to be fair, because obviously the FAI provide a lot of it, so there's not really enough. I think it's a lot of excess baggage, really, isn't it? Like PlayStations, headphones and all that kind of stuff, but... yeah, no, we should be good.
Nice, well, good luck, Andy, Brian, Rushing. Thanks a million again for coming on. And best of luck to Ireland from everybody here and Off the Ball. It's a huge competition for them. We've had, so much stuff with the FAI over the last while, and I'm really looking forward to watching these games and watching the best young players in the country giving it a go to become the European champions. Good luck, lads.